Hiroshima, Nagasaki! Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know what we do to you niggas? Hiroshima, Nagasaki, we destroy it. Because you niggas don't know how to behave. Wallahi billahi wa ta'ala. I swear to God. You do again, we're gonna do again.
Today we're looking into someone so unhinged, he makes your average internet freak look like a model citizen. This streamer, who claims to be a tourist, has so far vlogged his visit to 4 countries, and he's been arrested in 3 of the 4, banned from ever returning to another 2, and is currently detained in the country he visited last. Of course, we're talking about the one and only Johnny Somali, the worldwide reject. He has had multiple scuffles with locals from the countries he has visited due to his blatant disregard for cultures, and has been arrested multiple times for public indecency, obstruction of business. Johnny has done it all. Say hello to the self-proclaimed king of chaos, the patron saint of bad decisions, and a walking YouTube strike waiting to happen. This is the insane story of a man who's turned provocation into a paycheck, and trust me, by the end, you'll be questioning your own life choices for sticking around. Johnny's recent antics in South Korea have resulted in a chaotic and disruptive spectacle that has left the country bewildered and frustrated. The self-proclaimed internet personality's 8-hour live stream was a dizzying display of erratic behavior, culminating in a bizarre standoff with local law enforcement. The live stream depicted Johnny engaging in a series of increasingly worrisome activities. Initially, he began by making prank calls to emergency services, a disruptive act that wastes valuable resources and can potentially endanger lives. His actions escalated when he brandished what appeared to be an assault rifle, an act that instilled fear and threatened the safety of those around him. Johnny's behavior further deteriorated as he began harassing local residents, using racial slurs to intimidate and demean them. His blatant disregard for others extended to public urination, an act of indecent exposure that disregards societal norms and public health. His blatant disregard for others extended to public urination, an act of indecent exposure that disregards societal norms and public health. He even desecrated a statue honoring the memory of comfort women who were forced into sexual slavery during the war, demonstrating a profound lack of empathy and respect for historical trauma. Johnny's conduct throughout the live stream was not only disruptive and offensive, but also potentially criminal. His actions demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law and the well-being of others, raising serious concerns about his judgment and the potential for future harm. Johnny's actions have drawn widespread condemnation from both the Korean public and online communities. Many have criticized his blatant disrespect for Korean culture and laws, as well as his reckless endangerment of himself and others. The incident has also sparked a debate about the role of social media platforms in enabling and amplifying such behavior. The consequences of Johnny's actions are likely to be severe. He is currently facing legal action from Korean authorities and could be banned from entering the country in the future, while also facing a possible 22-year prison sentence if all the charges against him stick. The incident may also damage what is left of his reputation and online following, as many viewers have expressed disgust and disappointment with his behavior. Johnny's incident in South Korea is a warning about the dangers of online fame and social media's power to amplify bad behavior by providing financial incentives. It also emphasizes the importance of cultural sensitivity and respect for local laws when traveling. But if you think this is Johnny's first rodeo, you're late to the clown show. He has a history of wreaking havoc across different countries, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. In Japan, he harassed subway riders, danced provocatively on sacred statues, and accumulated assault charges in an alarming rate. Japan, he turned it into his personal playground, stirring up locals until they chased him out. And now South Korea is on the receiving end of his "I'm Johnny Somali, you know me" antic. And there he's quickly gaining notoriety as the type of person who would insert himself into a serious situation for attention, all while believing his dual citizenship will protect him from consequences.
Hello, let me talk to you. Police. Police, talk. Whoa. Let me talk to you. Johnny Somali? Me. Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali. You don't know? All right, go. You got my permission?
Johnny was not always a troll. In fact, he had a pretty normal life growing up. Born in the year 2000 to a Somali father and Ethiopian mother who moved to the United States, he grew up as Ramzi Khalid Ismail and was raised somewhere around Scottsdale, Arizona. He also says he's a finance worker and claimed to have a finance degree while interacting with fans in his Discord channel. He's also listed as a reputable alumni on the Arizona State University Wikipedia page. So you see that Johnny had a pretty good start to life, growing up in the suburbs in the United States, attending good schools, and probably never had to suffer lack of any sorts. But all that was not enough for Johnny. He wanted more. He didn't want to be a robot that worked forever, as he puts it. So after school, he dabbled in and out of the finance world and then started his own vaping company. He says that he still runs it on the side, but traveling and seeing the world was his dream, a dream that unfortunately came true.
I was a student, I was a bot, I was a robot, I was somebody who was stuck in the hamster wheel of life. When I went to school for those 4 years, I did really well in finance, but I was depressed. I did not like where my life was going. Where is that gonna lead you? You go to school for 4 years, you go work for 40 years, you end up in a cubicle with a suit on and a tie. I ran a vape company for a while, I still run it now, and that kind of gives me the freedom and the income to pursue my passion, which has also always been content creation, but I've never had the time to do it, because it's either I was working, or it's either I was in school, or it was either, you know what I mean? I had something that was always in the way, time-wise. And so now that I have this free time, I'm exploring the world, you know?
Johnny's first destination was Bangkok, Thailand. He got there and started streaming regularly, but most of his videos were filled with random people going about their day and doing business on the streets. There was even a whole recording of himself at what seemed to be a club, and there's really no content there. The unstable camera just keeps panning across the room, showing strangers at the club, and that's all there is to the video. And the reaction to the video was a clear representation of how the audience felt about his video. Seeing that his dreams of becoming a famous travel vlogger was not manifesting as he would have liked, Johnny decided to take a page out of the book of streamers like Mizzy and Phidias, who decided to make content by being absolute nuisances in public spaces. But Johnny didn't take a page to learn from them. No, he totally rewrote and reconstructed a new idea of annoying, obnoxious IRL streamer. He became a one-man economy of outrage, fueled by a fan base that's either too broke to care or too sadistic to stop. Every donation was a dare, and every power chat a Molotov cocktail he's dumb enough to light. And tonight, this glorious, stupid 8-hour descent into madness is the crescendo of a career built on pissing people off. Literally, his drunken threats toward a statue during a live stream highlight the absurdity of his actions. But we're not just here to gawk at the crash. We're here to dissect it, frame by frame, felony by felony. Usually, with characters like Johnny, there is a breakaway in their timeline, a point when they derail and become the completely unhinged, chaotic individual we see on our screens today. And that was the case with Johnny after Thailand. Started streaming in 2023, he was thought to be just another tourism streamer. But his dire need for attention meant that he quickly evolved and resorted to using provocative and confrontational behavior, targeting locals in the various countries that he visited. And before his most recent spell in South Korea, Johnny had previously been to Japan and Israel, where he also caused troubles, prompting locals to report him to the authorities and eventually kick him out. Before his infamous stint in Seoul, Johnny already carved a notorious path through Asia, leaving a trail of chaos and bewildered locals in his wake. His reign of terror began in Japan, where he quickly earned a reputation for his bizarre and disruptive antics. He would loudly berate unsuspecting subway riders, perform lewd acts on sacred statues, and a collection of complaints as if they were trophies. With an air of misplaced confidence, he would swagger through the streets of Tokyo, his booming catchphrase, "Johnny Somali #1, echoing through the urban landscape. This self-proclaimed title, however, was less a testament to any genuine accomplishment and more a desperate plea for recognition. His initial destination was Thailand, where he attempted to transform the vibrant city into his personal domain. Surprisingly, during this phase, he wasn't foolish or disrespectful. He frequented parties, markets, and other public areas, engaging with new acquaintances and maintaining a respectful demeanor in his conversations. The provocative behavior and blatant disregard for local customs that are now synonymous with his persona were absent at this stage. However, this approach also translated to fewer viewers for his content. After spending a considerable amount of time in Thailand, creating numerous videos of people engaging in their daily routines on the streets, Johnny's aspirations for internet stardom hit a roadblock. He hadn't achieved the desired viewership, His YouTube channel still had less than 5,000 subscribers, a situation that caused him significant concern. This prompted him to contemplate strategies for dramatically increasing his subscriber count, and he devised a plan during his journey to Japan. Upon getting to Japan, Johnny decides to make his first video in the country while on a train, asking other passengers unfortunate enough to be next to him about Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then asking why they did the Pearl Harbor attack, as if they were the real perpetrators.
Hiroshima? You know Hiroshima? Nagasaki? You know why you do this? Pearl Harbor?
And when he didn't get the reaction that he was looking for from those sitting next to him on the train, he started to scream out Hiroshima and Nagasaki to everyone else on his coach. Excellent behavior from someone touring a foreign country for the first time.
Nagasaki! Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know why we do to you niggas? Hiroshima, Nagasaki, we destroy it because you niggas don't know how to behave. Wallahi billahi wa tallahi. I swear to God. You do again, we're gonna do again. You understand?
He kept at this for a while, disturbing every other person on the train, just trying to have a good ride on it. And it wasn't until one of the other passengers had enough and decided to step up to him and confront him that stopped screaming those city names that were bombed in World War II.
What? What do you mean?
Where are you from?
You know where I'm from?
Where are you from?
I'm from America.
You're from America?
Yes.
So am I.
You're from America.
Yeah, you're being obnoxious.
You know what we do to you?
What do you do?
We will do again.
Do what?
Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You understand?
Do you think I'm Japanese?
Where are you from?
I'm from America.
Where are you from? What's your name?
Texas, buddy.
As we see, the guy that steps up to him did so even politely, asking where he was from because of his obnoxious behavior, a question to which Johnny answers that he is American, and same with the guy questioning him. They have this little back and forth, but Johnny didn't look like he was budging. By the end of the encounter, before he could even go back to his apartment and reflect on his dumb and terrible actions, Johnny's train video was already going viral, with lots of people questioning his sanity, as no one could understand why he was being so disrespectful and doing so very blatantly. And in the larger scheme of things, especially considering all what he went on to do subsequent to this video going viral, and also brought him thousands of viewers, that was a huge mistake by you internet folks by giving such a lowlife a glimpse of fame. Some of you might be thinking, now that he's got his viral video and a number of new viewers, he's bound to stop disrespecting the culture, right? Well, no. From there on, Johnny only ups his ante and takes the trolling up several notches, doing almost every obnoxious thing that he could think of while streaming to thousands of viewers. His next stunt idea was again on a train. This time he was blasting loud and racist music on the train, hoping to go viral again. But this time he was totally ignored by the people on the train, maybe because he said sorry to one guy.
Yo, what's the... Yo, God, I'm so sorry.
So we now know that Johnny is not mentally ill, he's perfectly okay. He's just a broke American tourist hoping to gain fame and money by being a literal pain in the ass of the whole country. Here he's calling out his haters, thanking them for watching and reminding them that he makes more money with more viewers, even if they are hate streaming him. While streaming on the streets one day, he was fortunate enough to meet with another Japanese IRL streamer that was busy streaming live on the street. He walks up to her and asks if she was streaming, and she replied yes. He then asks where she was live on, and she tells him that it's Twitch. He then asks if he could be part of her stream, knowing full well that he was banned on Twitch, and if she had let him join her stream, then she would have been risking her account getting permanently banned on Twitch, which was something that she would rather not do. So she declined and kept moving in another direction away from Johnny the nuisance. And like typical Johnny, he started saying cuss words at her and being generally rude. His actions caused her to break down in tears at the end of her stream.
And then turn around. Bye-bye. Get banned, bitch. Get banned, bitch. Get banned. You don't get banned, fuck with me, yo. Yeah, you better walk away.
After all his actions on and off camera, the Japanese people finally started to react. Firstly, he was slapped on the face while walking in a street market by a Japanese man that recognized him from his previous videos. Then a number of YouTubers and streamers from Japan ganged up and decided to confront him for his actions since getting to Japan.
He never did this to any other IRL streamer.
What are you trying to say? So what you did is something that is disrespectful for the whole Japanese community, and that's why Japan is really very mad.
Don't tell me you are going to drop an atomic bomb on Japan. Okay?
Okay.
The Japanese don't think you are good.
Seeing that he was outnumbered and being the spineless twerp that he was, Johnny dropped all his antagonizing antics and folded. He was made to apologize to the people of Japan for his stupid actions.
Apologize to the Japanese. Come on.
Okay.
Say.
Okay.
Okay, no. Say.
No, just say it.
Gomenasai, Japan. Gomenasai. I'm sorry.
After the humbling moment, Johnny went off the grid for a while. It was rumored that he went back to Thailand for a few days before making a return to Japan, maybe hoping that in those few days they would have forgotten about his actions. But he's about to find out again just how wrong he was.
Whoa. All you have to say is stop.
As Johnny continued his stroll, his previous actions caught up with him. A small group of about 3 men confronted him, their anger fueled by his disrespectful comments toward the Japanese people. Despite their hospitality and welcoming nature, Johnny had misinterpreted their kindness as weakness. The men, determined to show him the error of his ways, surrounded him. Slaps, punches, and kicks rained down on the streamer as they expressed their disapproval. The assault served as a stark reminder that actions have consequences and that cultural sensitivity is paramount. But even a thorough beating from 3 men wasn't enough to deter Johnny from his goal of being the biggest douche Japan has ever seen. If anything, it was almost a motivation for him, because he just went and upped his ante. His next trick was to enter a restaurant and create a commotion. Johnny went into a ramen store and ordered a meal like any other person and would have easily been mistaken for a sane customer. But that was until he started blasting loud sirens on his phone. And this wasn't just any siren. It's the one that's blasted whenever North Korea fires a missile that is heading towards Japan's mainland, a sound that gives people of Japan real anxiety due to the tense border tensions. So this shows that Johnny did his research and planned this out. It's not just a random occurrence. It is also reported that he went on to spill ramen, which is like noodles, all over the restaurant for reasons only he could tell, just being a problem everywhere he went.
Hawaii. Chinese.
As a culminating result of his actions, the cops were finally called on him, and he was arrested for good. Johnny didn't really struggle with the cops, as he thought he was only going to get a slap on the wrist since he was an American. But he was charged to court for obstruction of business, and he tried to defend himself by telling the court that the sound came out of his phone automatically. But they didn't buy that, and he was given a fine of 200,000 yen, which is just shy of $1,500, forced to leave Japan, and was banned from entering the country again. Now, for the average person, this would be enough to know that a career in ending whole countries off would come with a really steep price, and would be enough reason to consider a change of approach. But that was not how Johnny saw it. To him, he had just said F you to a whole country and got away with a fine and entry ban. That sounded like a win to him, and that encouraged him to double down. And he did so on his next trip to the Holy Land, Israel. Sometime in 2024, Johnny Somali found his way to Israel, to a place that he had occasionally bragged about being a citizen of and having ties there. Only that this time he wasn't looking to rekindle old flames. No, Johnny was on a mission to make himself the most hated person on the internet by replicating actions from Japan. And he did so by mocking the people who were basically strangers, calling them NPCs and stuff like that. But he wasn't getting the amount of online attention that he got while doing the same in Japan, so he decided to take it up a notch. Johnny decided that to get the attention he wanted, he had to do something really crazy. So he chose to make fun of the country's religion. He went to the Western Wall in Jerusalem, which is a sacred and holy site for Jewish people, and desecrated it by placing pictures of Jeffrey Epstein, who was a convicted child seller and streamer Aiden Ross.
Aiden Ross. Give Somali a deal. Talk to Eddie for me, nigga. Epstein, you'll always be one of us. We love you. You're our king Jew. You're one of us. It doesn't matter what you did, nigga. You're still Jewish. You're still one of us. We love you.
As Johnny probably wished for, he finally got arrested on site and was banned from entering the city of Jerusalem. He was also banned from the streaming platform Kick, but he quickly moved on to another platform called Rumble. Johnny's pattern of inappropriate behavior persisted during his time in Israel. Keeping the pedophilic theme, he continued to pursue and engage with underage girls, demonstrating a blatant disregard for legal and ethical boundaries. In one particularly egregious incident, he openly hit on a 16-year-old girl on the street while streaming online. During their interaction, he dismissed her age as inconsequential, saying age is nothing but a number. He emphasized his wealth, suggesting that she needed an older man with money like him in her life.
Too young for you, I guess.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
It's legal here in prison. Take me to jail, police, come. Age ain't nothing but a number. You need an older man with some money. That's what you need. I really her. I really.
His unacceptable actions escalated further during a protest in Tel Aviv. He directed sexually suggestive remarks and threats towards a female officer, demonstrating a profound disrespect for authority and a disturbing willingness to use his power to intimidate and harass women. In a previous incident, while law enforcement officers were occupied with managing a chaotic crowd, Johnny Somali took advantage of the situation and inappropriately assaulted a female police officer, managing to escape without facing consequences.
I slap that ass, I grab it too. Donald Trump told me grab it by the pussy, I grab that too. Stop playing with me.
This initial incident seems to have emboldened him, leading to a subsequent encounter a few days later where he directed similar inappropriate behavior towards another female officer. During this second incident, he verbally harassed her, using derogatory language by calling her a bad bitch and making suggestive remarks, boasting that he would like to take her to dinner and dramatically alter her life. And knowing Johnny's reputation, it's likely he did not have positive intentions.
I swear to God, I'll change your life. I'll change your life, baby. Baby, I'll change your life, I promise you. You are bad.
However, during this second incident, his luck ran out as two male police officers intervened, apprehending him on the spot. Throughout the arrest, he loudly proclaimed his American citizenship, seemingly believing it would shield him from repercussions. Despite his protests, he was taken into police custody, but was later released that same night.
Okay, now go. Relax. America. I'm in the tunnel. I'm from America. What are you doing?
The release from custody didn't mark the end of his troubles, as the Israeli public, angered by his actions, took matters into their own hands. Both Johnny and his cameraman were targeted in acts of retaliation, and his video streaming equipment was stolen.
Hey.
Luckily for the Israelis, this attack was enough to force him out of their country and look for another target. And unfortunately for Johnny, that next country turned out to be South Korea. The sun rises over Seoul, painting the city with the hues of dawn. As people begin their day with coffee and commutes, Johnny Somali emerges, disrupting the tranquility of a peaceful street. Half-clothed and frenzied, he transforms the area into his own chaotic battleground. After an 8-hour live stream documenting his escalating recklessness, Johnny's rampage reaches its climax. Surrounded by the police, he refuses to surrender peacefully. This isn't merely an arrest, it's the unavoidable conclusion to a night of defying fate, and fate has responded with resounding force. It was past 6 a.m., and Johnny, clad only in his underwear, was causing a disturbance. He claimed he was jogging, but his stumbling and screaming at passerby suggested otherwise. The police were called to the scene. Johnny, in a state of confusion and indignation, yelled at the officers, "My face, my face! I don't take a video." He had, however, spent the previous 8 hours live streaming his activities to an online audience. He repeatedly shouted, "For what? For what?" seemingly oblivious to the fact that he had spent the night prank calling emergency services, brandishing what appeared to be a gun, and harassing locals with inappropriate dance moves. The officers patiently attempted to control the situation, but Johnny was uncooperative. He shouted, "I'm American," as if his citizenship exempted him from facing consequences for his actions. Johnny's behavior escalated as he demanded a translator, yelling, "Translate! Translate!" He offered his ID and passport, seemingly attempting to delay the inevitable arrest. He insisted, "I'm not drunk." Despite his slurred speech, the officers remained unmoved by his excuses, They had ample reasons to arrest him, including the prank calls, the brandishing of a weapon, and the public disturbance. The best part, he's blaming everyone else. "You did this," he howled, as if the cops materialized out of spite instead of responding to his own antics. And then there's the kicker. "I don't have my hotel now, I'm at my house." A garbled mess that proves he's got no clue where he even is. This is peak Johnny, a man so far gone, he's arguing logistics with reality itself. The livestream cuts out soon after, but not before he's begging. Let's rewind to the beginning of this chaotic 8-hour stretch and examine how Johnny transformed a peaceful Korean night into his own personal spectacle. He engaged in prank calls, brandished a gun, and embarked on a donation-fueled rampage. This arrest serves as the perfect culmination of a night where Johnny pushed every boundary he could find, provoking the police, locals, and even his own sanity, until he finally ran out of options. Johnny Somali, in a boxer-clad state, found himself in a standoff with Seoul police on the morning of April 4th, 2025. This was the culmination of an 8-hour live stream fueled by alcohol and bad decisions, ending with his arrest. The previous night, April 3rd, marked the start of Johnny's chaotic live stream from a cramped Sangpa-gu apartment. The stream quickly escalated as Johnny, emboldened by his bravado and egged on by his online audience, engaged in increasingly reckless behavior. But even before that, he had already gone on to desecrate the Statue of Peace, oiling himself up and doing inappropriate dances in front of the statue before kissing it. This act of his was completely unacceptable to the people of South Korea. There was so much outrage that he even got himself on the news. And there was even a brief manhunt for him, with several mobs catching up with him and roughing him up. So much so that he ended up with bruises on his face and some bandages as well. Back to the stream. Before he started his rampage, a minor encounter with a police patrol car fueled Johnny's ego. He boasted about stopping the police in their own car and granting them permission to drive through his neighborhood, showcasing a delusional sense of authority. This incident set the tone for the rest of the night as Johnny continued his downward spiral, leading to his eventual arrest.
Hey! Constable, hello. What's up? Oh, hello, let me talk to you. Police, talk. Bro. Let me tell you, Johnny Somali. Me, Johnny Somali. You don't know? All right, go. You got my permission? Go. You got my permission? Go. I told the police you can't walk in the city without me. I told the police you can't walk in the city without me. Y'all saw that? Police can't walk in the city without me. I told the police you're walking, you got the permission. I told the police you can't walk without my permission. DEI. That's DEI. I told the police in Korea you can't walk without me. I told the police you can't walk. Y'all saw that shit? You can't walk in the city without me. Y'all saw that? I stopped the police in their own car. Y'all can't walk. Johnny Somali, I gave you permission to drive through my neighborhood. I swear to God, I don't cap. Y'all saw that shit live. Who gave them permission? I walked to the police. I said, stop the car.
Johnny's persona is an unconvincing and absurd mix of bravado. He boasts about being the first Somali banging crisps in Korea while throwing gang signs, a claim that seems unlikely for someone who appears clumsy. He name drops Brick Baby and Big U as if there are close connections, but it's doubtful he has any real street cred. Johnny prioritizes selling a fantasy over living in reality, and his audience eagerly accepts it, mistaking his loudness for authenticity.
I'm rolling 60 crib. I'm the first Somali banging. Listen, they locked up Brick Baby. They locked up Big U. I'm rolling 60 crib.
Johnny then initiated multiple prank calls using a cheap watch he referred to as a police watch. He used this watch to bait his viewers, promising to call the police if they gave him money. During one of these calls, he dialed 112, the emergency line in Korea, and demanded the dispatcher speak English. He slurred his location and name, claiming to be in Sangpa, and identified himself as Johnny Somali. The dispatcher remained calm and inquired if he needed help, to which Johnny responded with laughter and an apology, claiming it was an accident. He then bragged about having a watch that allowed him to call the police. Although his actions constituted a misuse of emergency services, Johnny perceived it as a display of power, and his audience rewarded him with monetary donations.
Let me see power chat right now. I swear to God, look at the upstairs. I'm calling the cops right now on the watch. I'm calling the cops right now. I'm calling the Korean cops.
Johnny is not a criminal mastermind. He's simply a hustler who has found a way to profit from outrage. His only goal is to get to the next donation, and he has no long-term plan or exit strategy. Despite his threats to leave South Korea and return to Tel Aviv, he is trapped. The authorities have confiscated his passports and imposed a travel ban, making his escape fantasies nothing more than a joke. Instead of jetting off to Israel, he's stuck in a holding cell in Seoul. By the time he's wandering the streets, half-dressed and ranting about statues and Kim Jong-un, the situation is out of control. He's made promises to deface monuments, harass the police and cause chaos, all in exchange for money. This behavior leads to his arrest, as he chases clout until it ultimately catches up with him. Next, we'll examine the audience that enabled his behavior, because without them, Johnny is just a nobody with a webcam. Johnny Somali didn't stumble into this mess alone. He had help. Meet the unsung architects of his downfall, a digital mob of faceless instigators who turned his live streams into a gladiator pit, tossing cash instead of swords. These aren't the regular viewers, no. They're co-conspirators, a swarm of online bottom feeders who've made Johnny their dancing monkey. On the night of his rampage, they didn't just watch his 8-hour implosion, they bankrolled it, egged it on, and cheered as he torched his own life. This is the audience that built him, and they're as much a part of this story as the man himself. Each message in the live chat is a dare, and each dollar is a leash as Johnny works to attention every time the ping hits. He's not calling the shots here, they are, and he's too hooked on the adrenaline to care.
Are we bringing it? Ah! Let me see some power chat right now, nigga! I swear to God, I'm calling the cops right now. Put one in the chat. Let me look. Let me see power chat right now. I swear to God, look at the upstairs. I'm calling the cops right now on the watch. I'm calling the cops right now.
Power chats. These paid messages that light up the screen are the currency of this circus. I'm not playing with y'all, Johnny declares. Send a power chat or I'm not looking. It's a hustle, pure and simple, and his audience bites hard. One guy drops $100 with, "Call the police right now, last stand." And Johnny's on the phone to 112 faster than you can say jail time. Another sends $20 asking him to take the gun outside. He doesn't, but teases it, milking the moment for more. This isn't a stream, it's a transactional spiral, where every buck buys a bigger piece of Johnny's dignity. Who are these people? Well, it's hard to say. They're shadows behind usernames, a mix of bored teens, edgelords, and maybe a few sociopaths with PayPal accounts. They're not here for art or insight. They're here to watch a man implode. It's like crowdfunding a car crash. You don't care about the driver, just the wreckage. And Johnny, he is their perfect pawn. "Y'all know how to speak to me," he smirks, egging them on, oblivious to the fact that they're not laughing with him, they're laughing at him. He's the butt of a joke he's too drunk on clout to get. By the time he's stumbling into the streets, the audience is in a frenzy. They demanded earlier that he took it to the street, and now he's delivering. Barely clothed, barely coherent, still chasing that next ping. This isn't passive viewing in any way, it's a blood sport. And Johnny's the bull charging every red flag they wave. They're doing more than just enabling him, they're engineering his collapse, one donation at a time. And when the cops finally show up, you can bet half the chat's cheering, because to them, the arrest is the payoff. In retrospect, that night revealed Johnny's pattern. His boasts about obstructing police, the harassing calls, the brandishing of a gun, it all epitomizes Johnny, a man who thrives on conflict, energized by online praise, oblivious to the impending danger. He's not a criminal mastermind or a cultural icon. He's a caricature, constructed from fragments of bravado and the relentless gaze of a webcam. Whether in Japan, Israel, or Korea, he follows the same strategy, merely changing the setting, and with each instance, he escalates his behavior, believing he's invulnerable until he's arrested. The sun's barely up, and Johnny Somali's grand finale has landed him exactly where he didn't want to be, the back of a South Korean police van. Cameras off, audience gone, reality crashing in like a brick through a window. 8 hours of live-streamed lunacy, prank calls, gun-waving side street hysterics have finally caught up and the bill's due. This isn't a victory lap or a clout grab. It's the fallout, the messy, unglamorous endgame of a man who thought he could outrun consequences. Johnny Somali finds himself in serious legal trouble in South Korea, facing a slew of charges that could result in severe consequences. The misuse of the emergency line 112 not once but twice in a single night falls under Article 268 of the Penal Code and could land him in prison for up to 5 years. His public disturbance charge stems from his ill-advised decision to dance in the street wearing only his boxers. The most serious charge, however, may be related to the gun he brandished during his live stream. Even if the gun turns out to be a pellet gun or a toy, South Korea's strict firearm laws could still result in a weapons charge. His American citizenship won't protect him from the consequences of his actions. Seoul's courts are known for their impartiality and won't be swayed by his nationality. Initially, Johnny also faced charges for creating and distributing a deepfake video using AI technology. In the video, he was shown kissing a female South Korean streamer, and he falsely claimed that she was his girlfriend. However, the streamer chose not to press charges, likely wanting to distance herself from the situation and avoid any association with Johnny.
Look, me and my Korean girlfriend. Look, you see? Y'all jealous, y'all niggas getting pussy like this?
Johnny's legal situation is precarious, and he faces a long and difficult road ahead as he navigates the South Korean legal system. The consequences of his actions could be severe, including a lengthy prison sentence. The travel ban's the real gut punch. Johnny's been screaming about his dual passports, US, Israeli, like they're a magic carpet out of trouble. I'll go back to Israel with the Jews and I'm good, he crowed midstream. Not today, pal. South Korean authorities have seized those precious documents, locking him in country while they sort out his fate. Online, the ripples a tidal wave. His arrests hit X like a grenade, splintering into memes, hot takes, and schadenfreude. One user posts, "This dude is 100% going to eventually get himself killed with one of his stunts," while another writes, "Insulting a whole country and being famous because of it ain't gonna end well for him in jail." The online community that once egged him on and fueled his downward spiral has already moved on to the next spectacle, leaving Johnny's digital remains to decay in the virtual wasteland. He's not remembered as a hero or a legend in these spaces. Instead, he serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked pride and arrogance. His story is a testament to the dangers of flying too close to the sun with wings made of nothing but hubris and self-delusion. And that apology he issued, a midnight confession, forced out of him by either a handler or a fleeting moment of clarity, a desperate plea for forgiveness that does nothing to excuse the 8 hours of calculated chaos he's unleashed. It's a last-ditch effort that falls flat. The authorities aren't interested in his excuses, and neither are the people he's spent months provoking and antagonizing. This isn't redemption. It's a pathetic attempt at damage control from a man who's already hit rock bottom. What's next? Best case, he's looking at fines, deportation after a slap on the wrist, if South Korea is feeling generous. Worst case, jail time. Months, maybe years, in a system that doesn't coddle loudmouth foreigners. His stream empire is crumbling too. Platforms like Party.com might let anything slide, but YouTube's already twitchy about guns and felonies. Those power chats drying up fast when the star's offline. Johnny built his throne on quicksand, and now it's swallowing him whole. Passport boasts, gang signs and all. The fallout's just beginning. Johnny Somali's not walking away from this with a victory dance. He's limping into obscurity, a footnote in the internet's hall of shame. Johnny's internet fame ended abruptly after the 8-hour-long live Rampage in March 2025. His reckless pursuit of online notoriety led to his downfall, leaving behind a chaotic legacy and serving as a cautionary tale for those who seek internet fame. And what has he left behind? First, the footprint. Johnny didn't invent provocation, he just turned it into a traveling sideshow. Japan remembers him as the guy who twerked on their shrines, a loudmouth who treated their culture like a prop. In South Korea, they know him as the half-naked clown who prank-called their cops and waved a gun for a few bucks. He's not a pioneer or a rebel. He's a human graffiti tag, scrawled across borders and scrubbed off as fast as they could manage. His empire was noise, not substance, a fleeting echo that's already fading. Online, he's a ghost already haunting the platforms he ruled. The memes are brutal. GIFs of his arrest looped with clown noses, threads calling him the streamer who forgot consequences exist. His fans, those power chat warriors who fueled his fire, are scattering. Some mourn with free Johnny hashtags, but most are on to the next spectacle. Wallets open for fresher blood. He's not a martyr here, he's a fossil, a relic of a hype cycle that chewed him up and spat him out. The internet doesn't mourn its jesters, it replaces them, and Johnny's slot's already filling. The practical consequences are even more grim. South Korea has him in a tight spot. Imprisonment a possibility, deportation might happen, but freedom is definitely not an option at this point. The passports he once flaunted are now useless, locked away in a police locker, just like his empty boasts about Tel Aviv. His streaming career is over. YouTube won't associate with a convicted criminal facing gun charges, and even Party.com might hesitate to get involved given the current situation. The crypto wallets he pleaded for are either empty or have been scammed by the same people who celebrated his downfall. Johnny is not just broke, he's shattered. A king who has been dethroned by his own actions, left holding only the painful consequences he brought upon himself. So why does this matter? Because Johnny Somali's chaos isn't unique. It's a symptom. He's the poster child for a digital age where attention's a drug, and the dealers are faceless usernames with a few bucks to burn. He's not the first to chase this high, and he won't be the last, but he's a hell of a case study. His legacy isn't fame or infamy. It's a mirror, reflecting a culture that thrives on watching fools dance off cliffs. South Korea might lock him up, deport him, or forget him, but the internet, it'll keep spinning, waiting for the next Johnny to stumble into the spotlight.